YouTube? It is your boy JB, and I am here today with the review for Love and Marriage DC Season 1, Episode 10, the season finale. So I don't know the title of the episode, you guys. I just know that it is the season finale of Season 1, you guys. So before we jump into this review, I want to say a big thank you to each and every person that gave me a birthday, shout out yesterday. I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. It meant a lot to me to see everybody, if you want, on Twitter, Instagram, even Facebook, although I don't use Facebook, and even on YouTube. You guys said happy birthday to me. It meant a lot to me, you guys, especially yesterday. It meant a whole lot to me. So I hadn't explained it to you. I hadn't told you guys what actually was going on currently in my life, but there was a death pretty close to my family. So the person that died, she wasn't like my blood cousin, but we grew up together and we called each other cousins. She is related to some of my cousins, and my aunt married into the family. So by extension, they are my family. So I went home for the funeral, and that's why if you guys, if I didn't respond to you right away when you posted the message, it was because I was in a bad area with bad reception and I was in the funeral. But overall, you guys, I had a really great birthday. It was good, Saw some people that I haven't saw in years, so really had a good one. So before we go ahead and just jump into the review, you guys, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on my channel and you guys aren't subscribed, then I need you guys to do me a solid favor and stop taking me out on this date and having me paying for it at the end of it. You guys know you can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and turning on those post notifications, you guys. Share the video, and with that out the way, without further ado, let us go ahead and discuss Love and Marriage DC, shall we? All right, you guys, so with Love and Marriage DC, I am glad that we are at the season finale, you guys. I'm really glad that we have made it to this point. So for me, overall, with Love and Marriage DC, it's been up and down for me. I like it, but then I'm like, it teeters and totters for me. For me, I will say, if this show was supposed to be a redemption for Monique, I don't think that it was a redemption for her. But hey, to her fans, if you guys feel like it was a redemption for her, then that's how you guys feel. But just my personal opinion, I don't see a redemption story for her. But hey, that ain't got nothing to do with me. So I think that the show, like I said, the show had its moments, but the moments in the season were from two people who weren't actual main cast members. Winter and her ex-husband, or soon-to-be ex-husband, what's his name? Kevin. That's where we got a lot of the drama from, not from the main cast members. I mean, we saw their individual stories, but the bulk of the drama was from Winter, and especially with Winter and the ladies. But hey, you guys can let me know what you guys think about that. I know that the reunion is next week. I hope it's a one-part reunion. I hope we're one and done. I don't think this season needs a two-part reunion, but for advertising and for the sponsors, I'm pretty positive it'll be a two-part reunion, unfortunately. But hey, it is what it is. So this episode, now, didn't Monique say that to Arena and to Ashley that Winter wasn't going to be spending the night with them? But then we see her and Chris the next morning. It looks like they're fixing breakfast, and who comes downstairs? You guessed it, Winter. So I guess because, and I can only assume that since the night before that the ladies seem like they have made some kind of, well, not even Ashley and Winter, because Ashley felt like that apology was vague. So I don't know that Ashley and Winter made up. Well, I guess they kind of did when they had the conversation about Kevin. So I guess all was good. And Winter is talking about how she feels that basically with Kevin coming there, she feels that with Kevin coming, it just she feels almost as if like a weight is lifted off her shoulder. I know she released her song that she sang in last week's episode. I need to go check it out because that song was actually pretty catchy, So then we see the couple. So they're going to be doing those IV drips. I still don't understand this. I'm one of those people that don't. I would never do an IV drip. I don't even like when I go to the hospital and the doctor tells me, "Hey, Mr. Barrett, we have to do an IV." Because the last time I went to the hospital, when I had a little virus back in 2017, and the one was like, "We got to take your blood." I was like, "You do?" She's like, "Yeah." Then she was like, "We also need to give you an IV because you are, she said we need to give you an IV to give you some fluids." I was like, "Do you have to?" She's like, "Unfortunately, yes." I was like, "Why?" Like, I was like, "I hate needles." I'm like, "I really do hate needles." She's like, "I understand, but we have to give it to you." And then she put it in my arm. I was like, "Oh God, that hurt." And then when she put it in and when she pulled it out, I was like, "Oh God." I just hate IVs. I hate needles. So while they're doing the IV drip, Ashley decides that she wants to play a game of, what was the game called? That's So You. I was like, oh, games with this group don't go that well. So we gonna see how this goes, because you know how, I mean, they don't go that well, and they didn't go that well with. And the interesting thing is, the game didn't go too well for the people who initiated the game. Ashley, it didn't go the way she intended it, because they. So what the thing was, the game was, they would pull a card, they would read from the card, and that would you would say who you think that applies to, what couple you believe that applies to. And I don't think they got one card out, because Chris pulled out a card, and I know one of them said, hey, this couple will have sex way into their 80s, and they were like, "Well, Chris, that's you." And then I know another one. Did it say would you, or did somebody ask the question? I can't remember, but somehow the question came up, and I know it came out of Chris Samuel's mouth, or did it come out of Chris Samuel's mouth, or was it Jamie? Came out one of the men's mouth. Would you, if you today, and your partner, if your partner asked you today to remarry them or to marry them, would you do it? I was like, ooh, this is going to go left very fast. And it went left faster than I expected it to go left. So Jamie, I'm gonna get the easy. I'm not gonna go how it went in the show. I'm just gonna go, because I'm not looking at my notes right now, but I'm going based off of my memory. So Jamie and Arena, they 100% said absolutely that they would marry each other, if the opportunity were presented to them. Absolutely. Oh, I also forgot to talk about Neil. They were talking about sex at one point. So I know that Tasha said that Neil was her first, but he's not the only person that she slept with. I think they said like 12th grade in high school. They got called a few times. I know that, Ashley says that Quick, he was having sex at a young age. I think that was a question. Who all here had sex at a young age? Unfortunately. But that sparked another conversation. I'm going to hold off on that conversation. But the conversation about would they remarry their partners, Monique said, she would not remarry Chris, which, unfortunately, girl, we know that. Loudly, we can tell that you wouldn't marry Chris, because she says that. And see, that's my thing when it comes to Monique. It's almost as if you beat him down so much. It's like you beat Chris down when he doesn't do things. Because here's my thing. You've been married to Chris for 10 years at this point. Why not sit down and tell Chris? You may have had this conversation with Chris, but it doesn't seem like, if you've had this conversation, that it's landing. And obviously the conversation is not something that is a deal breaker. You know what I'm saying? Because she talks about what he hasn't changed. But have you told him, I want you to change this, I want you to change that, I want you to change this? And if you say yes, you told him that, have you put a contingency on it? Have you put a timeline on it? If you don't change this, I'm going to do this. If you don't change this by this time, I'm out. Like, that's my question when it comes to Monique. Have you put timelines, contingencies on Chris changing? If you haven't, then honestly, there's no real necessity for him to do it. There's no incentive for him to do it, negative or positive. You know what I'm saying? it could be a negative incentive. If you do this for me, I'll do that for you. Kind of like bartering, basically. If you do this, if you don't do this if you don't do this, then me and the kids, we're packing up. If you don't do this by a certain time, me and the kids packing up, leaving. So I wonder if she's done that. But then also, she was talking about how, I guess she's talking about when they got married, the license, the piece of paper that they've signed. She would prefer to just not have that at all. And I want to ask the question, what the hell does the paper change? You and Chris are still the same people regardless of a piece of paper. I know she says that the relationship was different before they got married, but how much different could it really be if you say he's been the same way the entire time? That means that that means that those issues were already at the forefront. They just weren't as prevalent. They weren't such a big issue for you at the time, but they obviously were currently there. So I have a question about that. So then let's move over to Ashley. And now see, actually, before we move over to Ashley, and it's quick, as much as I say Monique, she can be annoying. In this scene, I actually didn't understand Monique when she was talking about the fact that Chris brought up his ex-girlfriend from college. I would have been like, I would have said the same thing that Monique did. Like, you don't have to mention her. What is the purpose? Like, he said, well, I thought I was doing it as a good thing. No, sir. Bringing up your ex with your wife, or even if you just have a partner, that's disrespectful to that person. Period. Point blank. Period. So the Silvas. Now, I was so confused with both. So I know that Ashley said that she's cheated on Quick, but it sounded like it was get back. But he says he cheated on her, but then she says he didn't cheat on her because she wasn't living in the house with him. And I was just like, so what was the get back? Because that's what it sounded like. It was get back. So I was kind of confused. What was the said get back? I didn't understand that. If you guys understand it, chime in the comment section. But for the life of me, did not understand it. But you guys, that was that. I'll pause here and I'm gonna move forward. So next up, you guys, we see all the couples. Chris and Monique. I'm gonna ask a question in just a minute when I tell you guys. So they were dressing up as famous couples, right? Everybody made sense with the exception of Chris and Monique. I have a point that I'm trying to kind of come up with. Like, it makes absolutely no sense why y'all went as that quote unquote couple. She was a mistress. I mean, as much as we love her, she was a mistress. But Jamie and Arena, they dressed up as Jay-Z and Beyonce, and I actually liked it. Quick and Ashley, they dressed up as, I don't know why they dressed up as Ike and Tina, though. Got a big question on that one. Why did y'all dress up as Ike and Tina Turner? Ike Turner abused Tina Turner. So yeah, the only couple that I can understand is Jamie and Arena, because Jay-Z and Beyonce are a power couple. Yes, we know, Becky with the good hair, but other than that, we don't know much about their relationship, and we know about the elevator scene with Solange. But other than that, don't know much. But after I just thought about it, that Quick and Ashley were dressed up as Tina Turner and Ike Turner. Of all people, y'all chose those two. I get Tina Turner, but I don't get Ike Turner. I understand why Ashley dressed up as Tina. Tina's a boss in her own respects. But Ike, I don't understand Ike Turner. God, that was an ugly man. I mean, Ike Turner was ugly. Jesus Christ, that man was facially challenged. That's what I'll say. So then the next couple was Monique and Chris. Chris is Biggie Smalls. Well, that's the only person he can dress up as. Really? Just because he's a big boy, that's the only person he can go as is Biggie Smalls. It's a costume. You can go as anybody you want to. But I guess just because Chris is a big boy, he's just reduced to every fat person. No shade to anybody this big. He could win as y'all could have won as Magic and Cookie. They're a power couple. Y'all could have went as Magic Johnson and Cookie. And she's dressed up as Lil' Kim. Lil' Kim was not a wife to Lil' Kim. Like I said, love Lil' Kim to death, but she was a side chick. Why didn't you go as Faith? And then we see Neil and Tasha. So they're dressed up as Andre 3000 and Erykah Badu. Okay, I'll let them have that one. That's cool because we know Andre and Erykah were in a relationship. They have a son, right? So we know they have a great relationship. I think they still have a great relationship to this day. So nothing wrong with Andre and Erykah. Nothing wrong with Tina Turner, Ike Turner. Nothing wrong with Biggie. I just want to. Why are we reducing him to a fat nigga? Why are we reducing him to a fat nigga? That's all I gotta ask. Just because he a big boy, he can only be a fat nigga. And then Lil' Kim. The two people I just didn't understand was mostly Ike Turner and Lil'. Excuse me, y'all. I didn't understand Ike Turner and Lil' Kim. Didn't understand them whatsoever. Jay-Z and Beyonce, we cool. Oh, you know what, guys? I actually got ahead of myself with the cheating thing. No, I didn't. No, I didn't get ahead of myself because Ashley was still pissed off about this. Ashley was still pissed off. But I did get ahead of myself with the Q&A. So I got ahead of myself with the Q&A, so we've already discussed it. Would they remarry their partners? Arena, yes. Jamie, yes. Ashley, no. And Ashley, she said no. And I think the reason why Ashley says no is because her being married to Quick, we've heard this from her time and time again, that with Quick, she's Quick's wife and she's the mother of their children. So I think she says no because she would like to have her own identity outside of mother and wife. And I understand that. Like I said, I've already talked about Monique and Chris. I didn't realize I had got ahead of myself. But hey, we've already discussed it, so we can go ahead and just move forward, you guys. All right, you guys. So next up, we have Monique and Chris. So it's not much with Monique and Chris in this scene. We see them and their kids. They go horseback riding. So Monique is, they're talking about the trip and how, they think that the trip was a success. But Monique, she brings up, what this actually at one point in the episode, she was talking to Chris because Chris stepped away. He went to go cook the food and he asked her what happened. She told him what happened between Ashley and Quick. Okay, I guess. So then again, they're talking about Ashley and Quick again. I'm like, why are you talking about Ashley and Quick? Talk about your issues. And she did. Chris asked her, so if I were to ask you today, would you remarry me? You would say no. She says for her, she wants to see change in Chris. And I'm okay with you wanting to see change in Chris, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But like I said, what is your approach when it comes to Chris and this change? Are you setting an expectation? Are you setting a guideline? Are you setting, timelines? Are you giving contingencies? Because if you're just saying, I want, and then why not? My other thing is, why not work with him on, if you want him to change this, give him the tools, help him to help you in facilitating this change. That's all I got to say. She also tells him to think about what he says before he says it. I agree with that one. So I want to pause here, you guys, and move forward. Next up, you guys, we got Arena and Jamie. So we see Arena and Jamie as they're getting ready. So they're getting ready for court because Lil Jamie has to go to court today. And Arena says that Lil Jamie told her the night before. I was like, ooh, I would love to go in on Lil Jamie, but I can't go in on Lil Jamie because that is specific. That is how I was in my 20s. when it came to things with my mom and me needing to do something, I was notorious for that. I would have things planned out prior to telling her, especially if it was something I'm like, I don't know how she's gonna react to this. I would wait till the day of and say, hey, so I have to go do this, I have to do that, and she'd be like, Jerome, why did you wait to tell me? Because I didn't know how you were gonna react. So I've already had it planned. I just was waiting to tell you. So he has his legal issues, and I hope that through this show and him able to watch the stuff back, I hope that this has been a wake up call for him to change some things in his life. I know that Arena and Jamie were talking about how he has a job now. He's doing he's working with them on the side, so he's doing a lot of good in his life, and he hasn't been in trouble since 2021. So that is a good thing, and I hope he stays on that path. I really do hope he stays on that path. And the charges are for drugs and gun charges. I was like, damn, when are our young black brothers gonna stop doing just senseless things? I mean, it's just, to me, it's very senseless. So they're getting ready for court. They go only to find out that the charges have been bumped from a misdemeanor up to a felony and is now going to the circuit court. So they talk to his lawyer. His lawyer tells them what all is going to have to be done. And like I said, I hope that for little Jamie, that if he did, if he beat these charges, I hope and pray that this is just a wake-up call, that he needs to stay on the straight and narrow in his life. The negative influences that are in your life, get rid of them. Get rid of them. And that's pretty much all I got for, Arena and Jamie. And then let's wrap up the episode, you guys. So we are wrapping the episode up with Ashley's book reveal. So Ashley is going to be revealing the cover of her book, and we see the whole entire cast there, including Winter. I was like, okay, cool. So Ashley has her face. Like, if you forget what Ashley looks like, Ashley's face is on this wall, on that wall, on the cupcakes, on the her name is on the pillows. Ashley wants you to remember who she is, and I ain't got no problems with that. So we find out that Quick has a surprise for Ashley, and Ashley reveals the book cover. Beautiful book cover. The name of her book is Do That Shit, right? I actually will check out her book whenever it comes out. I don't know if it's out currently, but I definitely will check out Ashley's book just to read it. Hopefully I don't fall asleep. It's nothing against, it's not Ashley, it's me. When I start reading a book, I always manage to fall asleep. Even if the book is good, it takes me a while to finish a book because I just fall asleep. But I definitely do want to check out her book. So congratulations to Ashley on her book cover, everything, positive in her life. Quick surprised her with a new ring. He told about their engagement. So I think he said his arm was broke, or his arm was broke, and they didn't have the best engagement. They got married in Jamaica because that is where he wanted to get married. So you didn't ask your wife for any input on the, okay, cool. But that's so season 1 is a wrap, you guys. It had its ups and downs. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst. I could review this so much easier than I can review like Basketball Wives and shit like that. So overall, it was okay. I ain't got no issues with it. Let me know what you guys thought about the season. Next week is the reunion, and we will move forward. So I do want to give you guys a little bit of an update going forward. So going forward, what I believe I'm going to do for shows that I don't necessarily care for, i.e. Basketball Wives, once I get settled down, I'm going to start doing some live reviews for you guys, because some of these shows I don't have the wherewithal to watch them once, take the notes, do the review, get to my computer, edit it, and then watch what I'm editing, and then upload that shit. I would just rather just hop on the camera, talk to y'all, read y'all's comments, and go from there. So that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm going to do eventually. Basketball Wives, for right now, is gonna stay in the format that it's in. Once I then move into my new place, that's when we'll switch the format to going to live. I feel like Basketball Wives, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, and Miami, those are going to be live reviews right after the episode goes off, so that way I can get it done. I ain't got to think about this shit no fucking more. But we'll work it out as time progresses. So, like the video, you guys. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on your post notifications. Share the video. And until the next time, you guys, stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Wash your hands. Wear a mask. Socially distance. Be blessed. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.